Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear. Should we go with like the super radio intro for this one?
And we're back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics Podcast.
And everyone left.
And so instead, we're going to go with our charismatic voices. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics Podcast. I'm Tyler, joined as always by Tommy.
What's up?
And also Tanner.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going? So today we're going to dive in, and we're going to start by me and Tanner are going to just complain for a while about our own woes while Tommy just sits there and is young and
Takes
uninjured.
it all in.
That's right.
Tommy
With
takes
my
it
supple
all in.
18-year-old body.
Tommy takes it all in.
Can't
with his,
wait to turn 19 next month, guys.
Totally, guys. I want you to Google those exact words. Tommy takes it all in with his supple 18-year-old body. Opening this one with a PG title. So, Tanner, we were talking the other day. I hadn't actually seen you. We only ever talk to each other when we podcast. So actually, we actually ran into each other at the gym because we've both been working like assholes.
We run out of things to talk about for the podcast if we
so
talk
we
too
can't
much.
talk during the week at all.
Yeah.
Every time I see Tanner, I'm like,
save it for the Tuesday night.
Cut it off.
It's kind of like if you run into your ex-girlfriend at the grocery store. You're like, yeah. You're like, I don't want to fucking know how you're doing, and I certainly don't want to tell you what I'm doing. Hi, Tanner. But no, so we both were in the gym nursing some ginger biceps, I suppose, and I didn't realize that you had fucked yours up again.
Yeah, not as bad as the first time, but it's my left bicep tendon. I hurt it the first time in a tire flip in a strongman competition this summer.
You can scroll back a few episodes.
Yeah.
About 70 episodes and
Find
I don't know
more
how
on
many
that.
weeks back it was.
Find something about an injury.
And I've really been taking good care of it since then and haven't done much of anything to hurt it. And the other day it's really gotten better. It's gotten a lot better. I can do a lot more.
So when you say taking care of it, like you're only maxing out on curls like twice a week now?
Instead of 5. Yeah. So kind of babying it, you could say. No, I've really just been avoiding just about anything that hurts it, and it really has gotten much, much better. And
what was anything that, because I've never had a bicep injury,
Yeah.
so did you guys both do similar things agitate it for both of you?
Well, yeah, I think so. So you want to get in exactly how you did yours, and then I'll kind of get into mine.
Yeah, so I did mine flipping a tire. If anyone's ever done a tire flip before, you know that you're not supposed to curl it up, but at a certain point, like,
There
this is the
a
position that your
transition
hands
in
are
which your
in.
elbows
Yeah,
bend.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I could hear it pop like 3 times.
This is
going
the
up.
first injury.
Yeah, the very first time that it happened.
And that was also after doing another strongman competition 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, and my bicep was, I could tell that going into that it wasn't fully recovered. It wasn't injured at that point at all, but it just, it was sore and it was, I'd call it like tired, or I could tell it just didn't really feel awesome.
Yeah.
So when it did happen, I wasn't all that surprised. I was kind of like, well, that's probably what I get for doing it when it felt like that. But since then, September, October, November, December, January, 5 or 6 months later now, it's been feeling progressively better all the time, and it really felt pretty good. And haven't done any, like, Atlas stones would be a big thing that would hurt it. A tire flip would definitely be out. I don't know that I'll ever
Flip a
tire because I can't see that not hurting. Like,
We
I
also
don't.
don't like doing it.
Yeah, like really, what do you have to gain from
Yes.
flipping a tire at this point? It's-
Right. But squatting, right away, like trying to get in a low bar back squat might have hurt it a little bit, but in short few weeks time, that's really wasn't an issue. And deadlifting was never never a problem for me. It's my overhand anyways on an over-under grip, so I never had much concern there. But a lot of the strongman stuff would be where it would be
compromised.
Yeah, and curls. Like I couldn't curl a 15-pound dumbbell or a 10-pound dumbbell.
You're not going to enter that strict curl competition.
No, definitely not. And
honestly, if not being able to do curls is the single greatest tragedy of any bicep injury, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because I think you can like still do other lifts, and I don't think your biceps just shrivel up. But
No.
still, for me, every week that goes by where I don't do any curls, I look in the mirror and I'm like, "Fuck, am I fucking up? Like I think I'm shrinking."
Yeah. So I really wasn't doing any curls for several months here, but I just wanted to test it out. Like it was beyond the point of even being able to test it out. Like it felt like it was just pretty good. You know, it was getting quite good. So I did a little Atlas stones, just really, really light. Like I started with the 120 and, you know, did reps of that and the 180 and the 200 and the 220. And they all felt really good. Like it wasn't really bothering it whatsoever. You know, I would say like 0 on a scale from 1 to 10.
Yep.
And I even did a 260, and it still hurt at 0 whatsoever. I did a few reps of that, and I was like, I'm really happy with this. But I was like, I'm not going to go any heavier than that, but I kind of would like to mess around and do a little more. So I just was doing a really light series of like 100, 200, 220.
Yep.
Just those 3 in a row.
Just to make sure it's still there.
Yeah. It was just it was fun. I haven't done it in a really long time, and it was just kind of fun. So I was doing it for that reason, and I was like, well, I'm going light, so I'm not going to hurt myself, you know, going this light after I already have tested it and decided I was comfortable with that. So I went through it once slowly, the series of 3, and it felt really good. And then the next time I was like, all right, I'm going to time this one and just see what I can do it in, and you know, because it gives me something to work at then without going heavy. I can go light and time it and see if I can better myself. So the lightest one, 180, I did that just fine really quick. The next one, which was only a 200-pound stone, I bent over, and the second I went to break the ground from it, I could feel my elbow do the exact same, it felt like my, you know, I say my
Feel it in your
elbow, but
elbow.
my bicep tendon do the exact same pop noise.
Uh-huh.
And this time, you know, of course, I knew immediately
What was going on.
Yeah, it felt exactly the same as the first time I did it. So I set it down and thought to myself, well, you idiot. You know, like it was getting better, you know, this is after 6 months of trying to get it better. And then it did it. But I'm about 3 weeks removed from that now, and it's not as bad as the initial injury. I already feel, you know, what took
You're already
2 or 3
eyeballing up
months.
that next stone series.
No, I'm probably not eyeballing that up. But, you know, in just a few short weeks, I probably made as much progress months last time. So it wasn't as severe, but same sort of thing. So it makes me question be a problem. Like I'm not at this point. I'm not real sure of what.
So with this
could
stage of
fix
it, does it hurt when you squat now, or is it not?
It doesn't. It doesn't deter me from squatting or really make it harder or anything, or it's not causing lasting damage by doing it. But yeah, it's just like more uncomfortable because just a lot of things with it. Just you know, there's a little bit of extra pain.
There's a lot of positions in that just hurt.
Yeah.
Like pulling all the way in.
Yeah.
Hurts so bad. Even just the tension of squeezing it right there.
Right.
Hurts, but.
And it just like something like as simple like roll that I don't know, the bicep tendon must have a key factor in that rotation.
For people that can't see, Tanner's just holding his arm out and just turning
Just
his hand from
rotating
facing
my
up to
up,
facing
pump.
down.
Yeah. So
Chance to show off the guns. Like, listen, guys, this is what it looks like. And
When I'm
there's
like
the old tricep.
no, so I don't know. I'm pretty okay with it, but it just, like I said, I just start to wonder what I ever could do to it in order for it to not like just do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, even if I waited a year this time, I feel like it would probably have a good chance. 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. Of literally not messing with anything like that.
Yeah.
So you only have 6 months to go on your road to recovery, Tyler.
Apparently, I don't know. Like I didn't do anything like. I mean, I know what I did that aggravated it, but I don't know. Like I don't remember. Like it didn't even hurt after I did it. Like when you tore yours at flipping that tire, you were like, "Fuck." It hurt.
It hurt right
And
away.
I didn't hurt mine. So we had that strongman competition in Sioux Falls, and it was a bit bicep intensive, generally speaking, because I get when you clean a 300-pound log that you're supposed to lock it in with your back and open your hips. Your fucking biceps pulling on that fucking log.
Yeah.
Like, that is what is keeping it there.
Yes.
Isometrically. Like, that is involved in the party.
Even if you do
Because I
everything
promise
perfectly.
I ain't cleaning a 300-pound log with my bicep the way it is now, so my bicep was definitely involved in that.
Yes.
So clean and press that. The dumbbell wasn't, I don't think, a bicep thing. The heavy dumbbell wasn't. But then there was a few other events. And then there was the overarm rope
And that
pull.
big time.
Which,
No matter if you're trying to use your lats or your legs
Whatever,
or whatever,
like-
same thing. You're still
you're still doing
It's just
it.
it's just all going.
Yeah.
And
right.
then the next event after that was the Atlas Stone series.
and that's the same way. Even if you do it.
See, that's what I don't get, and I don't know if Big Tim or Big Jacob are listen to this. Maybe I should just ask them instead of putting it up. I'll ask them at some point because they'll respond.
The
to that.
old-fashioned way, send them a
No,
DM on
no.
Instagram.
Here's
and-
what you do. You just put it on a podcast and you hope they hear it and then they respond. But because I think they train strongman stuff and it looks like Stone's about weekly.
It seems
Yeah.
like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I could not do a heavy Stone series
No.
weekly.
And I understand.
and I get the concept.
Yeah, I understand
And
that too.
And I don't believe that I'm curling it.
Right.
But I am getting around, getting locked in, and I am pretty good. And I even watched the videos. I'm pretty sure I deadlift it to the knees and roll it up.
Yeah.
And then I lock it in. And when I lock it in, because I have long arms, I am certainly not curling it. I know that there's no strain on my biceps going over the thing.
Right.
Because I am just around it, and it's all hamstrings
Yep.
at that point.
Yep.
But I
But
have no
one
idea.
no one picks a Atlas Stone up off the ground
Straight
like
arms.
this.
No.
So there
Like
are
you have
bent,
to, even if you're not
because that's
curling.
how you get your forearms
yeah,
to hook up
you
with it too.
can't
Yeah.
go like that.
So I don't know, and they're better than that. They're both
Yeah.
way better than we are at
Yeah,
that event. So maybe we are fucking up. Maybe there's something about it, but this is totally the worst way to act like you know a thing. But I was like, I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube on how to do it, and I thought that that's what I was doing. And I've certainly never had anybody coach me on it either. So who fucking knows? But my biceps were totally smoked after our competition last
Mine
year.
were big time too.
And I don't know, maybe my biceps maybe I gotta do more curls. But the truth is, going into this event, maybe I pre-fatigued him too much or something. But going into this event, I knew, so I was doing some heavier curls, and then I'd back off for a couple weeks with some lighter volume, and then go heavy for a week, but I was doing more bicep work than before for months in hopes of preparing.
Yeah.
For
But I can say mine is not the muscle of my bicep.
Well, mine either.
It
Yeah.
is the tendon. So
is the muscle just strong enough to fucking wreck the
and
tendon at this point?
that's what I mean. Does a stronger bicep prevent this
Yeah,
anymore?
same,
I just wonder about
And I think
what people
and we're
can do
not
with
saying, and
connective
we're not
tissue,
saying this in a way in which we know the answer.
No,
we're
I'm literally
really asking-
saying,
I don't
thinking
know.
out loud.
Is training my biceps just
Yeah.
make me more susceptible to
Yeah.
a tendon injury, or is training it getting stronger, and then is the connective tissue just a little slow to the party?
Yeah.
I don't know. So if you're listening to this podcast for information, you've been fucking up because they're certainly not going to learn anything.
I hope they've figured that out by now. Anyways,
I mean, we're almost 100 episodes in, and I know you ain't learned nothing.
be like, geez, this is episode 97. What have I learned?
What have I learned? I think I could do something
I learned
better
a
with my
really good
time.
way to waste time. So speaking of injury, then, Tyler, did I see you got some books in the mail? Was that you?
I did, yeah. I got one that's been talked about a lot. Is Dr.
I'm actually very interested in this.
It is. I've just started it, but Dr. Stu McGill and Brian Carroll's The Gift of Injury, and so far I haven't even gotten into I've gotten just past the injury.
Is it just pictures, or do you have to read it too?
It actually has a fuckload of pictures. So it actually is they knew this shit was going out to meatheads because there is a lot of pictures. But no, the way it flows is, and as soon as I posted about it, I got some feedback from some other coaches too. Because I actually got Dr. Stu's other book, the Back Mechanic, which is great. And a couple coaches, and Matt at Forged, he messaged me and he's like, hey, he was like, Back Mechanic is great. He was like, but the Gift of Injury is like the real world application of like, he's like, it is just how, and it translates to almost any injury.
Yeah.
Like how you do it and how you can find a starting point. And, but yeah, so good. And I just started it like a day ago, and I don't have many big chunks of time to do nothing. Mm-hmm. I do, but I choose to do nothing with those times. Yeah.
Someone's got to make sure Instagram's still running, right?
That's my biggest challenge as an entrepreneur. Tommy is much better at this than I, is time management, and not like working on things for too long, but like I fall into do nothing traps for hours.
Oh, it is a very
fucking worst, man.
Yeah.
Slippery slope.
Jesus
the
Christ.
trick around that is, this is what I do, is I work on a timer all day long, so I'm constantly timing myself. Because in my job, I got to keep track of how much what I'm doing for billing people.
Yeah.
But by working on a timer, you never feel like,
What does it matter?
Yeah. Like you're literally just sitting there like, oh my God, I see the seconds ticking. Like,
And I have,
so that is a helpful tip.
I have weird chunks of time too where I just may have, I should do something like that. I just have never ever been a person who does like plans his schedule. Mm-hmm. Like even when I was a kid, my parents would be like, you need to get organized. This is about every semester when things would go wrong in school. They'd be like, you need to get, we're going to get you, the solution was always an assignment notebook. Yeah. And you're going to get one and you're going to write down your assignments for that day. Right when you get the assignment assigned to you, you're going to write it down. And then at the end of the day, you're going to do them. And that's how it's going to work.
You said already I see so much wrong with this.
And you started doing that, continued to do it ever since, and it's worked great.
Here I am, just a man with a system now. No, what I started then was I would do that for 2 days. Yeah. And I would be like, no. Because I didn't want to do the assignments. Yeah. So what I would do
it wouldn't help if it was written in paper that you
no,
needed
I wouldn't
to
care
do
if it got tattooed on my fucking face. So what I did was then I would just be like, well, no, because none of this is important to me. And the problem is now that the things are important to me, I don't have that skill or discipline. So I'm like, I should have fucking listened to my old man. But so anyway, back to before we get into the book thing, is what I'll be like, so today I was like, all right, I've got a full hour right now, a full hour before this deal. And I was like, so I got to get this couple things done with the gym's fucking like billing stuff, and then we're good to go. I start doing that. I get halfway through that. I get like a message on Instagram, and it's bounced back and forth, and this and that, and funny thing, and scroll through this, and check this, and do that. And next thing I know, 20 minutes has passed, and I still haven't finished the thing that I'm waiting on to get done before I can spend that time reading. I was like, oh shit, okay, so I get back and I do the thing, and I get done, and it's like, all right, now I got like 20 minutes left. One person walks in the door, and then I'm fucked. I was like, okay, now I'm chatting with this person for 10, and it's time for class. So that's pretty much what happens to me. A version of that.
It's a slippery
anytime
slope.
I
It's
try
easy
to
to
do
do.
anything ever, and it's only because I'm not trying that hard to do that thing. But the book, back to the book, it's really, really, really good. And I want to point people in a couple directions too, because Dr. Stu is the fucking man, in my opinion.
I see he even has his own Instagram page too. Sometimes you just assume certain people aren't up with it, but
No, he puts out pretty good content, like pretty good information. Let me find the center. So there's a couple of. Have you heard Dr. Stu on any podcasts? Mm-mm. So there's a couple out there that are. If you want to get get up to speed on who he is and what he's all about, there's a couple episodes. One of them is the Ben Greenfield Fitness podcast, which I don't know much about that podcast in general. But Dr. Stu is on, I believe, the most recent edition of that one, and goes into depth quite a bit on like everything, which is it's actually really good. Lots of good information. My favorite one is John Wellborn at Power Athlete. They have a podcast called Power Athlete Radio. Probably should take the spot of some of the vacant spots on our list. Some of the defunct podcasts. Power Athlete Radio is one of my favorite, like, strength and condition. It is like a strength and conditioning podcast for, like, sports performance, aside from just lifting for the sake of lifting. But episode 233, so it's from back in November, and they had Dr. Stu McGill. And if you don't know much about Dr. Stu, he was like the NFL's back guy.
Oh, he was. See, I didn't know what his background was.
He was the guy that, like, if you got fucked up and your team and all of that, they couldn't fix you, like, you went to him, and it was like, we're going to take this approach, and it's either, this will get you back playing or nothing can, And it's not like he uses a bunch. It's just a very sensible. That's my favorite. It's just a really sensible approach to recovering. And there's a few things about it from really any injury that people should take, but is basically find a pain-free range of motion. Find moving that you can do that don't cause you pain.
Stan Efferding talks
Stan
about
Efferding
him.
talks about it. Stan
that's what he
Efferding's
talks. That's
yeah.
what he preaches now.
Yeah, so now Stan Efferding's done a couple of things on that same
Yeah.
subject. But it's like, Stan Efferding, it was one of his 10-minute walks or one of his rants.
Yeah, he kind of had two, one with the knees and one for the back.
These, yep, and the one was about the back was the first one, where it was like Stan Efferding. I think if you look up Stan Efferding, I broke my back.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
But it's basically find a pain-free range of motion and move.
Yeah.
And that's most of it. Eliminate the cause. And the
Yep.
cause is not that you were, like, if you hurt your back deadlifting, the cause is not deadlifting. The cause is how you fucking deadlift. So don't deadlift that way. Obviously, you got to remove. So if you're going to not deadlift for a while, that's okay too. But you need to work on getting to that range of motion that you can do pain-free. But eliminate the cause, fix the cause of the pain.
And I think with that, he tied in like their phrase, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he called it picking the scab.
Yeah.
And he said, a lot of people, just get, they're their own worst enemy is, oh, my knee's hurt, but I want to fight through it, and you just make it worse, or you might think you're making some progress, so you go right back to doing what you always did, and it makes sense. That's why you don't get any better.
Tanner and I with fucking Atlas stones. What the fuck?
Got to pick the scab.
Picking that scab.
Yeah, all right, my injury's finally healed. I'm gonna go do this the same exact way that I did when I fucking
Like,
did
oh,
it.
why did it hurt it again?
But it's because we're not smart. But
You're not
then,
doctors.
well, I am. But basically just move. So find pain-free movement and move. So what so many people do is they get a back injury and they're like, oh, fucking poor me. I just got to sit around and I'm going to make sure that I gain 40 pounds. And so that fucking my sadness about my injury turns into sadness about my overall well-being. And then my fucking wife's going to not like me because I'm fat now. And so everything goes to shit. And, like, that's usually what happens to people. Like, for real, like, how many people... You probably don't know many personally, but I know of lots of people who get a back injury doing anything. None of these people are people who got it lifting, but someone gets a back injury for any number of reasons, and they just kind of like turn into a bunch of sad saps and spend the rest of their life on disability.
It's like, all right,
And
just
it's
like
Jesus,
anything
man,
physical, like I got a bad back. I
like
can't do
Tommy, you could do your job in a goddamn wheelchair, hurt back or not, truthfully.
that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I hurt my back. I got to make sure I do nothing with the rest of my life now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of a lot of that goes around. And that's the thing. Find pain-free movement and move. Do what you can. If it's walking, walk. But, like, just work. Do a thing. And so, but that's like a few of the foundations of it. But I haven't got so far through the book, but I've listened to probably about 40 hours of interviews with Dr. Stu. And he's the dude. Like, he's the guy.
The other one that I liked, and I don't know if this was more, because I've heard Stan talk about him several times, and I feel like I've heard him come up on another podcast, but I don't know if this was Stan or someone else or Stuart, Dr. McGill, but it was someone's view on like training your core, abdominal region, all that. A lot of people get stuck into thinking, I need to flex. It's a flexor, and like really no, the point of your core is a stabilizer to support you. And I think it was on there they talked about like he likes to use planks, he likes to use weighted carries,
heavy carries,
one arm carries,
little things like bird dogs. And if you get into some of the other
bird
some
dogs,
of the other things too that they do at Power Athlete, things like dead bugs, some other almost like crawling movements and things like that are not loading your back, but are challenging your core.
So not just doing 1,000 crunches.
And basically the crunches are a waste of your time, kind of. Like it's just, one is it trains a bad pattern.
Yeah.
And two, like, it's just not that effective. Like, I don't know. To me, and I don't know about you, but the best ab work I ever get is deadlifting. And that's in just fucking.
Well, I was
solid.
telling Tanner the other day, I've started for the first time in my life consistently doing planks. And I'm just doing just regular, what do you call just the regular plank? Just a front plank or whatever it is. Yeah, just 30 seconds. Because even some things I was reading, and again, I don't know hardly anything about planks, but some things I was reading were like, you don't even really need to go over 30 seconds, like much longer than that, and you're probably doing the exercise incorrectly. And I'm getting to the point now where I feel like I think it took me a while to really figure out to like take your back out of it and really make it so that you're engaging that front. And now like I can almost go into that position. Like I feel like I can almost turn it on right away. And within like 10 seconds, like just, you can feel that flexion in your, like that tightening up in there.
That was one of the things that I had to learn when I started working with Julian Pinot was that like back movement is stabilized from the front. And there's another guy, some of his stuff I just don't know whether or not to validate, but there's a guy on Instagram called Stop Chasing Pain is the account. Half of his information I'm like, oh, that's fucking totally sensible, I get it. The other half gets into things that I just don't know whether or not they exist. You know what I mean? Like there's just like, is that a nervous system thing? Like he's talking about nerves and this and memory, and I'm like, I don't know of any of these things. So I can't speak for someone. But one of the things that he said that stuck with me was he was like, if you have pain in your back, you need to address how you stabilize your front.
Yep.
And that's it. Like the way I teach people to stabilize their lumbar is to really, really just drive out your obliques and lower abs. And you literally, if that is tight, if I come to your side and I dig in with my fingers and you push that out, you can't articulate your lumbar at all. Your thoracic will move, but your lumbar will not. And so when I did lift heavy, that's my cue, is if somebody has their fingers pushed into your sides and you drive them out, that and then drive with your lower abs down and out, that you can your lumbar. And I've had since then not a lick of back pain as I added 100 pounds to my deadlift. Not a fucking lick of back pain, because my lower back doesn't move.
And I've noticed that too with myself is back in my beginner days, anything deadlift would always hurt my back. I shouldn't say hurt, but my back was always sore. And it just always was. And it's like, I wonder at what point I just get good enough at deadlifting that my back isn't sore.
My back's just got to get stronger.
And I was like doing back extension. I mean, this is like 5+ years ago when I didn't know anything at all. And then it was just like cleaning up my form. And all of a sudden, it's like when I didn't do touch and goes and when I'd reset and get in the correct starting position, like that almost went away completely, to the point where it would only happen after my heaviest days. And now it's finally getting to the point where even after my heaviest days, it's not really so much my back as it is just that whole posterior chain is what's sore.
Yeah, my
which
ass and hamstrings.
It's like, is that actually how that's supposed to go? You know, like
So, and I've had it now, and where I noticed that it actually works is that I'll deadlift. Matter of fact, so I don't even know if I told the story. So I've been trying to figure out how to do that right still, like to really engage the right muscles, and actually is. For me, is challenging because I'm not that good at it.
I don't think it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Like for me, a lot of people say the squats are really hard exercise, and I've never in my life had to think about the proper setup for a squat. I just do a squat. Like it's not a thing. But for me, like thinking about like how to get everything tight on a deadlift and not like crank on my back, like it's still a work in progress to this day. It just shows like everyone has. Tanner, you've probably never had that issue.
I would strongly feel the opposite.
Tanner's like squatting, fucking sucks.
Yes, I would very, very much adamantly be on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like, no matter how I'm feeling and everything, I can go do a deadlift and it feels pretty good. And like, the stars have to be aligned just fucking so in order for me to have a day of squats where I'm like, all right. And then I'm not even talking about the weight. Like I could have a day where I move good weight, but it still
feels like you're dying.
Yeah. Yes. But on those it does make me cherish those days when it does really feel good to squat, and I'm like, I did it.
I'm Chuck and I, for whatever reason, must align in that because we both talk like, it's like, I don't even remember the last time I had a sore back from squatting. Like, it doesn't happen ever.
I never have that problem.
And then, like, Chuck's like, oh, I could just keep, and like, you watch Chuck squat. It's like, yeah, he can just keep throwing weight on. But then he's like, I just feel like my body's going to break in half when I'm deadlifting. And Chuck doesn't have bad deadlifting form at all. It's just me and him are in that same boat where it always feels like the worst thing in the world is happening to you.
Yeah, I haven't had a deadlift feel good in a long time. and it's ever since, and that's still, I think, the way I protect my back is by really focusing on it. Like, when I did, so it's been like a whole process, just trying to find out how to contract those muscles and finding my obliques. And I was like, I don't know what people mean by it, so I just push out. And I'm trying, and it's worked. But when we had our 2-year party, that night or that day, I deadlifted that afternoon, and it actually was like an okay deadlift day. And I was like, oh, I felt pretty good about it. But it was I didn't drink much water that day, and then I went and obviously drank a lot of booze, and so we're about halfway through the party. And, like, out of nowhere, I start getting, like, I'm actually, like, because I'm dehydrated from it, I'm getting cramps down my, like, external obliques. And I was like, oh, I fucking figured out where those muscles are. And then it's like, you can't stretch that out like a hamstring. So you're just like, I need a ceiling to grab so I can reach and lean. But that's, like, for me, that's where I feel the work goes into when I deadlift. I mean, I'll feel it in my hamstrings. But when I set up, I don't worry about, pushing into the floor or pulling on the bar or anything. It's all that. And then, but my deadlift has been still a cause of frustration for me, but it doesn't cause me pain. However, this last week, I think I started a little bit too soon back from the competition. And I set up, and warm-ups felt fine. Actually felt really good, and I had some lofty targets that day for having not deadlifted much in a while. And I set up, and I go to pull, and I just had I had a triple at like 495, and then I was going to move up. And I went first rep. I felt like what I thought was a cramp in my side, right below my rib cage. I was like, oh, what the fuck? And put it down, reset, pulled, it hurt. Put it down, reset, pulled, it hurt. But I was like, that's just a cramp. And then I loaded up like 555 and then broke it off the floor, and it really hurt. and I don't know. I actually thought the way it felt when I coughed that I'd somehow cracked a rib. And I didn't know how that was possible. But I actually think I might have separated a muscle off of like my very bottom rib a little bit, or tore it off, because it's still pretty fucking tender, and it's been a week. So now everything that I do where I try to brace fucking hurts.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I just overdid that one time, but I put as much attention into bracing like that for a light deadlift as I do a really, really, really heavy one. And then it's just like, it becomes easy to turn on stability that way. And that's like how I've learned to deadlift without hurting my back. It doesn't mean that I'm good at deadlifting. It doesn't mean the rest of the pieces align, but I know that my lumbar is not taking the heat. And I'd guess, and that was my thing when I looked at it. I was like, fuck, that sucks. It hurts to breathe. But I was like, I'd rather have a fucking strained oblique than a fucking fire a disc out of my fucking spine.
Right.
Truth is, like, this will heal. It'll get strong. It's whatever. But like, once a disc is fucked, it's just fucked. And I don't want to go down that road. So I just put as much attention into bracing as possible. And that's what I teach all the athletes I coach. It's like, just fucking brace hard. And you're not gonna get hurt with a lightweight that way.
No, and even if you once you're comfortable enough with that, even like maximal weight, your back isn't going to be what gives. Either you can lift the weight, or like
once
I never
you lose stability, you're not moving the bar anymore.
Right,
like it's gonna stop.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just my back. Like even if I was to miss a deadlift, like because it was too heavy, like my back doesn't start to round. It's just
it just
like
doesn't move.
Right, right.
And I think that has something to do with has a little bit to do with just you are making a choice. You know what I mean? If you chose to just when you're missing a deadlift because it's too heavy, not that it happens that often, but you would know, like, you're pulling up, you're gonna, if you lose that stability and fold up, that's when the bar stops moving.
Right.
You put it down.
Right.
Like, it's not like that's a thing where you're gonna be like, well, let's try shifting, and but part of it is just having the discipline to make a choice. It's like,
Right.
it's going to work technically or it doesn't
Won't work. Yeah.
And people that get outside that end up on the fucking table, you know. But that was the other thing with Dr. Stu is that, like, he really is a huge advocate of, like, if your doctor is saying that you need to have back surgery, like, I mean, he's like, there is very few instances in which that is
Because
the
they're
best
finding that
case.
like fusing discs is not
fucking-
the
and they're
or
like
fusing vertebrae.
Yeah, and they're like not. They're just. It's like, and I don't want to listen. Just listen to the things that doctors do. But it's basically like if your doctor is saying he wants you to have a fuse your fucking disc, maybe talk to a different doctor, or talk to a doctor who is like, we're totally not doing that, and then hear him explain why. You know what I mean? Don't listen to the doctors tell you why they're going to. Find one who's against it and hear his explanation, because I'm going to guess that that's probably the most compelling argument. Because if the other ones are real, it's kind of like, well, because that's just what we do. You know, if you hurt your back deadlifting, your doctor's going to say, well, quit deadlifting. But if I hurt my back playing fucking City League basketball, the doctor's not going to be like, well, it's time to pack it in, buddy.
Right.
But that's because your doctor can relate to a recreational sport. And I'm going to guess your doctor's kind of a weak-ass bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like how many people fucking show up on the doctor's office from softball every year around here? So many. How many people do you know?
Yeah.
Blowing
that have
out
had
knees,
blown out
Achilles,
knees, shoulders,
torn
Achilles,
calves.
backs, everything from fucking softball. You go in one time with an injury from lifting, your doctor's like, you gotta stop lifting forever. I was like, but I have to lift things up forever. I don't have to play fucking softball. Like,
Yeah.
softball's
Well,
the thing.
it's
you
because you're
quit.
not dedicated to softball. Tyler.
Apparently not. And there are people that really are. Do you know that type?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anybody who's like my pal who's that type of person, but that doesn't register with me at all. I have no idea what compels a person to, like, there's people with hundreds of dollars worth of bats.
I think that's pretty easy to do. I think like
Yeah.
a bat is hundreds of dollars.
I'm
I think.
already out.
Yeah.
That's where I'm out.
Can't play these rich man games.
My entire gym bag's about $100.
Yeah.
Full worth of shit. But yeah, and I've heard it from doctors too, where it's like, you know, someone hurt their back deadlifting, the doctor says, well, yeah, you're never gonna be able to deadlift again. It's like, but let's back up. Like, you mean I'm never going to be able to, like, perform a hip hinge and pick something up from below my waist, like, ever? Like, not my kids, not dog food, not groceries, not a fucking jug of milk, not
Never.
anything, ever? Because that's what a deadlift is. Like, it's like if we remove the fact that you think it's a meathead lift, like it's just lifting a thing up off the floor, dude. Like, so you do it how you do it and see how that works when something's heavy, you know. But, like, I don't get that mentality. And when
Right.
a doctor says that, I tell someone, find a new doctor.
But do you know what the difference between a doctor and God is?
What?
God doesn't think he's a doctor.
And I have clients that are doctors that are very nice people, but
that think they're God.
But there is something to be said. A guy spends 12 years in
Yeah.
school.
It's just
and
a
then,
lot
and
of
then you
people-
have all the answers.
A lot of people spend 12 years in school, right?
Listen, I spent 2 years in school, but I only spent about 45 collective minutes in class. So, but no, that's, you know, and part of it is like, I don't know, how much can your doctor deadlift? Probably not that much, because he doesn't ever do it.
That's true.
You know, his knees probably suck from playing City League basketball. So who cares? But anyway, that's my rant on Dr. Stu McGill. He's the shit.
Yeah,
I like him a
I
lot.
might have to steal that book from you when you're done.
Yeah,
I think
it's,
even Blaine Sumner not too long ago had the books posted.
Blaine Sumner's actually, like, quoted on the back of the book even.
Is he?
Really?
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good.
Bill Kazmaier writes the foreword.
Really?
Oh.
I like all these.
What areas does this delve into?
Not 200-foot tall
No.
people.
Yeah.
That'll be the
Sheer
sequel.
insanity.
The sequel.
I've
The
been.
thing we're glossing over a little bit too, though, is Dr. Stu's mustache.
How old
it
is he? I don't know what he looks like. I guess.
He's
Probably
got a
in his
big white
60s.
mustache.
Big
Nice.
white mustache, like a ball, and not just like a curl, like full,
Oh,
like Yosemite Sam full.
nice.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
he looks like he should be like spending his time like at an old west saloon doing like shows
Yeah.
on the weekend, not being a doctor.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
What were you reading, Tanner?
I've been reading The Scientific Principles of Strength Training
Oh,
by
yeah, you
Chad
also-
Wesley Smith and the Renaissance Periodization guys, which is Dr. James Hoffman and Dr. Mike Israetel.
Is that a big book?
It's like 300 pages. It's not like it's not a textbook, but it's a readable. It's not like reading.
It's a readable book.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like reading.
I would like that when you're done.
It even says this. We're not trying to be super training.
Yeah.
Like this is
You should be able to turn pages. On
right,
this.
right, and it's a like if you weren't interested in it, it would be pretty dry and
Yeah.
it'd be tough to follow. But I'm very interested in it, so I want to keep reading.
Yeah.
And just a really basic of it. It just
put
goes
more
through.
weight on every week you go to the gym.
That's it. You just do a little more every time,
Forever.
and then
That's how it works.
where do you stop? Never.
You just get stronger until you're stronger than everybody.
No, there's 7 basic principles of strength training, and they're in order from most important to least important.
I
So
like that,
if,
keeping it
if
simple.
you're not doing the base of the pyramid,
Don't
the
even
little
jump to the
yes,
last one.
yes, start at the base and go from there, and that's the basics of it. And I haven't finished them all. But,
What are some of the ones you've gotten through?
really, the first part of the book is almost basically just like terminology, like talking mesocycle, microcycle.
so everyone's talking the same
Yeah,
language.
so you can really read the book, and it's not crazy technical terms, but it's just so
Yeah.
when you read a sentence, you don't think,
I would guess most people, if you told them those terms, would be like, "Yeah, I've heard that." And then if
Yeah.
you said, "Give me the
But
actual
no, but if
definition,"
it's-
you'd be
it
like,
says
"Eh."
a mesocycle is 3 to 5 weeks long, typically 3 to 4 or 5 weeks of progressive training with 1 week of a deload at the end. And then you're like, okay, now if you say mesocycle,
Yeah.
now
Makes
when
sense.
when I read that, okay, I know you're talking about a month,
Yep.
essentially. But then the first block of the pyramid is specificity, and you'd really have to read the book to, I'm not going to go into that, but
Yeah.
that's the first block of the pyramid, and then it
I'm
goes
going
from
to
there.
guess that it means being specific.
Well, I don't want to get too specific on specificity today, but it's really good, and there's some you can tell like I can in reading the writing I can almost hear Chad Wesley Smith talking in parts of it, and
A big man with boat shoes talking to you.
and if you've ever heard Mike Israetel,
Yep.
and I can hear him talking, and
Yeah.
and these are guys that walk the talk and
Yeah.
have talked.
Doc-
for,
I mean,
Have
Chad-
demonstrated the principles.
Yes,
Chad
yes.
Wesley Smith, I if you don't respect Chad Wesley Smith's
Yeah.
credentials, then I don't know who you would.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't think there's anybody who's like, fuck Chad Wesley
Yeah, I was
Smith.
like, what does that guy know?
Okay, since I just said that, though, can we quote me? It's like,
Well, you said it.
For the
You said
reprint,
the words.
for the reprint of the book, they can
but-
put that on the back.
The general idea is that it is not a program. The book, it is not a program book.
It's just
That-
principles. You can come up with your own
Yes,
method. Yeah.
that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's designed to, like. If you fully understand the principles, you can program.
You can become an Instagram coach.
Yes. That's kind of would be
No,
the joke.
You don't
but-
even need to do that.
This would probably be overqualified.
You would
as
be
an Instagram
overqualified
coach.
to be-
But the idea is then is you can apply these to your own training, and maybe apply it to programming to enhance it, or come up with your own.
The other one, I don't know if we've talked about Mike Israetel as well in the past, but like he, you should follow him on all of your social media.
He's
stuff.
big.
He's well, I don't think he's tall.
Oh no,
But he's pretty big.
Yeah.
No offense, Doc. but no, he's big. He's fucking jacked.
Yeah.
But Chad Wesley Smith kind of is the strength side of things.
Yeah.
And Mike Israetel does. I believe he does all of the nutrition and science for Juggernaut. And then for Renaissance Periodization, he does all of their nutrition and stuff like that too. But he is like the nutrition and muscle guy. Like he's the one, if you want to build muscle, he is all of the science and all of the actual sensible information. Not they're just, it's a no bullshit. That's why for all nutritional stuff, I'm sure there's things out there, but I would hold Renaissance Periodization as the gold standard.
Yeah, from what I've seen
no
about theirs,
nonsense.
it's if you
can-
they offer free things even
Yeah,
that you can
do as specific and dialed in as you could possibly imagine through them, or you could just do a very guided, sustainable.
I haven't seen them
program.
put any posts out for 5-week challenges, so
No.
I think that speaks to their credibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, for real. Like,
No, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, anybody who's like,
But
hey,
that's what draws me
we
in.
got a 4 weeks. You get your fit tea,
Yeah.
your fucking isogenics bullshit, your fucking this or that, and then like you're like that's how you know it's stupid.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a 3-week fucking post-holiday reboot, and then we're gonna get back on track. It's like,
How
well, what?
sad would it be though for your life, for your diet to constantly be just a marketing scheme? Like the food you eat exists. Your existence for eating is based on a marketing scheme. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be a sad way to live?
Yeah, like
Oh man.
like here I am just ripping people off 21-day fixes at a time.
Yeah.
Or to not even be the one ripping people off, to be the one falling for
Getting
that.
ripped
Like
off, yeah,
to
like-
think
like-
like I do need to go
Hey.
for the 4-week after Christmas reboot. Like
Yeah, it's like
because
you
there's
know what?
there's thousands of people out there that do
Yeah.
that, and it's like
I
God,
took-
that's really sad.
I took vitamins. I only had 2 protein shakes a day, and I took a detox tea.
Yeah, I
that
took my
was-
detox
with
tea.
700 milligrams of caffeine. So I had, guys, so much energy. You wouldn't believe how good I feel on this detox tea. The feeling of detoxification is incredible. I did shit out about 7
A
to
gallon
8
of liquid.
pounds in 21 days. I did also lose about 7 pounds because I didn't eat any food. So here I am, 15 pounds lighter in 21 days. It works.
The best things to do are the least sustainable. Like when you
Yeah,
can find
definitely.
something that you literally can't do for more than 4 weeks.
Like,
Yeah.
don't eat.
That's
like,
your-
replace your food with something that's not food, and eat that.
and which you won't be able to do for long.
Because,
so after
because
that,
you were put on
well,
this earth to drink
good
fucking
luck.
shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to make sure most of your disposable income every month goes to this habit
Yes.
too.
If
Like
you
that,
can spend $700 a month on supplements,
you need to go for 9.
it should be nice. Yeah.
if I
you should what you should do, instead of spending $700 a month for supplements, you should spend $2,500 right now, and we'll get you in a distributor package. And then your supplements are free
Yeah.
if you just get 11 people to spend $700
With
a month on supplements.
12 of the most encouraging people you could ever meet in your life.
We're gonna start. All of you are gonna start vlogging and talking about how it's changed your life. You're gonna buy this pack. You're gonna take your first. You're gonna open up your first package and take it, but you're gonna pretend like you've had this nutritional knowledge your entire life, even though you're overweight and you're starting today. And that's how a lot of that shit goes. It's like why is the people pushing that stuff like the worst? Or it's people who. The people at the top are people who have always been fucking thin. Well, it's like, listen, motherfucker, talk to me about your fucking wonderful transformation. You started taking this stuff 6 months ago, but for the last year and a half, you were eating cheeseburgers and maintained the same physique. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So Renaissance periodization over everything else, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would pay, short of just going to a nutritionist, which I always recommend because RP will do one-on-one stuff also, but they'll
I think
also
it depends
just
on what
do,
you want to pay for.
Yeah,
you
they'll
know.
also do just like a guided template for you based on
Yeah.
what you want to do, and but yeah, I would take them over literally any nutritional stuff I'd find online.
They seem to be really good.
Yeah, and Dr. Mike's the shit. So follow him on. I actually like.
They came out with a book about recovery too. That's just
Yes.
new. Not recovery from injury,
But
to be-
recovery from training.
From training.
Yeah.
And the book follows the same format. Here's your, I don't know how many principles are in there. If it's 5 or what
Yeah.
the number is, this is the most important one. And sleep is towards sleep is like the 1 or 2 or
yeah.
something. And it's like, don't worry about how much fucking creatine supplement you're taking. That's this little tiny little block
This
right
is
here.
dial-
and this
That's the
sleep
snowflake
block,
on top of the mountain.
It's like, don't ask us
Because
about that.
if your
Yeah.
fucking sleep is only 80% dialed
Yeah.
in, creatine might equal 1/10 of 1%
Yes.
of sleep.
And maybe nutrition is also one of the
Probably,
one
yeah,
of the top in there too. So if you're not eating and sleeping, it does not matter what supplement you're taking.
About your designer fruit flavored
Yes.
caffeine that you have to pump
But
in.
I like that the way that this book is and how that one is too. I mean that's just sensical. It
Yeah,
just makes sense.
yeah.
And that's like, yeah, so RP, Dr. Mike too, I highly recommend that you follow him on Facebook for one reason and one reason alone. The long form content that he posts. He essentially will write every day like hundreds of words, and it's gold. Like, it is really good. It's all good information. Some of it might be on training's particular muscle group. Some of it's food. Some of it's rest. But it's fucking gold. And you can't always get that length on Instagram. So follow Dr. Mike Israetel on Facebook for sure. He will not be your friend. He has too many friends. I tried.
Well, he won't be your friend.
Well, maybe he won't be my friend because I called him short. Not to his face, but no, it's yeah. So RP, they're Massenomics. We endorse them.
Yes. I would like it if they would endorse.
Listen, we've been
Sponsor.
We've
I
been
would like it if they
sponsoring
would
them for so
sponsor
long.
us. If they sponsor us, I'll use their services for free too.
For sure.
You would do
Like
that.
I would
Is that all
do
you
that.
You take that challenge.
Yeah.
I'm actually at a point now where I don't know if I would like take a meal plan at this point. I'm kind of okay with what I eat, and I can just dial things up or down. Like I don't know that I would want any more specificity in my food than what I have, because I kind of enjoy. I keep it fast and loose, but it's dialed in just enough to where I can do what I want with it. I can get bigger by adding a couple things. I can get smaller by removing a couple of things, and I don't feel like shit.
But a meal plan would be very tough for me because
You like to party
well, no, I could hit
You're breaking years of habits.
No, I could.
because you're so fat.
I don't.
Because
Most
it
of
goes
these
against your
reasons.
religious beliefs.
Because you're going bald faster than I am. For those
Hey,
listening,
let's not get
you
carried
can't
away.
see to confirm or deny that, but Tanner is losing hair at an alarming rate.
I'll go into my back. It's falling down.
That's exactly where mine is going.
Actually, I only have like 5 back hairs. So
Really?
Yeah.
My wife shaves my
But
back
they get
every time I shave my head.
They're so few that you don't even notice
get
them. So
long ones?
they'll get really long
yeah,
over
yeah.
time because, if you had a ton of them, you're
It's
not
just
gonna let
like-
it get
the
like
whole area.
No.
that
yeah,
long.
yeah.
But like if you just have like 3 that you don't even really notice, all of a sudden you'd be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, why is that?
I think everyone does have the ability, like on a shoulder,
Yeah,
to grow
right on the to like
to grow like a
that hair,
3-inch
that's-
hair
yeah.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Somehow that happens.
And you look at it, and you're like,
It's random.
disgusting.
Yeah, you're like, what is that guy taking? But like,
Am I a man or an animal?
yeah, I actually, as my hair goes, you start getting now where like the hair in my mustache is less. I can't tell the difference between hair that's growing out of my nose than hair that is now a part of my mustache.
This is the first time I've ever really had facial hair, and I've even noticed that myself when I look in the mirror. I'm like, is my nose hair getting longer, or some curled up into my nose right now?
Yeah, and that's the problem. I'll have something will get in my nose, but no, what I found is I'll wipe my mustache, and then all of a sudden I'll wipe my mustache, and something will pull to make my eyes water, and I realized that I had just pulled the nose hair out of my fucking nose, nose, ears, and back, and back is whatever. Back hair is what back hair is. Some people just have it. If you're fortunate enough to have a significant other. Who's in it for the long haul? She should understand that that's her job, is to keep your market value high. It reflects well on her. So my wife understands that concept, so she keeps the back trimmed for me. Every time I shave my head,
The back goes
she
with it.
chops the old back hair down.
Is it like that your hair is running away from your face and
It's
escaping your
going
back?
literally everywhere else.
The mustache traps a lot of moisture in it too. Like,
Yeah.
If you go outside this time of year,
yeah, and you'd be
you're like, how did my
easily.
mustache get so
and-
crusty?
Well, yeah, like you'll get out of the shower and 30 minutes later, be like, oh, why is my
still wet.
mustache still wet?
You should get a beard like this. It basically doesn't dry.
It's just,
It's just
you're like,
wet
there's
for
just
years on
old,
end.
old moldy moisture in there.
Yeah, it's super musty. But yeah, but the back hair thing is a bit of a problem. But I will tell you, back hair on its own is not as gross because it's manageable. But like tufts of shoulder hair, you ever seen that? I
don't know
Like,
if I've seen
like where it's
tufts
just
of
like
shoulder.
here, like on the tops of the traps and tops of the shoulder. I don't have that, and thank God. But I see a few cases of that a year in the summertime, and you're like, man,
Yeah, I
like
don't-
that's right there, and there's a mirror.
That's totally
You see
accessible.
that, you can take care of that. Like, and that's always a guy who's like has a clean shaven face. And we're like,
Yeah.
you're every day you're taking that responsibility on.
They show up to work every day, clean shaven, in their pleated
you
dockers.
were going to the
and-
pool today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
That's
my,
that.
That's my curse. That's what
It's your gift. It's your curse.
It's my cross to bear on my back. Hashtag Jesus had back hair. Do we have anything else we want to get to?
Just the last week's episode, we talked about the tribute powerlifting meet. That's Matt from Pioneers, one of the big ones, spearheading that. And Bobby Morgan is his name. He's actually the meet director of this meet. And he let us know he saw our post about the podcast this last week, and he gave it a listen. And he said, if you guys got any other questions, I'd be happy to run down any answers I could or help any way possible. So I put together a list of questions, 10 questions to ask him here today, and he got back to me right away, and all good answers here. So number one, I asked, will everyone be in knee wraps or knee sleeves, and is the squat out of a monolift or out of a combo rack? And he said it's classic raw, which would be wraps, and raw, no wraps meet. Okay. So it's two. One the first day, and one the second day. The first day would be in knee wraps. The second day will be in knee sleeves.
Whether or not I would be allowed to compete in both?
I think you can, but you have to wear both at the same time.
I could do that. I could go raw. I could go. I'm gonna go bare knees and in wraps.
Yeah. And then
one of each, or
yeah, we do one.
That would be tricky. That would feel weird.
Just go down on the hole real hard on one side.
That would feel really weird. And he said they'll be squatting out of a combo rack. I asked why is it the IPL? Why is this an IPL meet, or what is the IPL about? And he said IPL is the parent organization to the USPA. Okay. So USPA, which would be more.
So the IPL is international.
Yes, he said kind of like IPF is to USAPL.
Gotcha. I did not know that.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. So honestly, this is maybe it's going to make me sound stupid, but I was like, what is this obscure?
That's what I thought too.
Well, here's the deal. Could have fucking Googled it, but didn't.
Yeah.
So there I am.
Yep, we all did that. So
guilty.
Yeah. I asked who are some of the lifters that have registered so far. So far, registrations, we have Dennis Cornelius, which that's very interesting because there again.
Well, he already, I believe, can't do Worlds because I think he did another meet here.
Yeah, he did. Okay, so John Hack.
Yep, he's been out of that for a while now.
Pete Rubish, which that's a pretty interesting one to see. Kaylor Woolham.
Yeah.
Another good one. Stacy Burr, Nicole Gonzalez, and many more. He said they have roughly 30 elite lifters registered so far. I asked how they're kind of doing that selection process, and he said they're picking lifters from the top 3 of powerlifting watches, open, classic, raw, and open raw divisions in the weight class. So if you're in the top 3, you're getting an invite, and if they don't fill up their classes with those top 3, then they're just going to work their way down the list until they do.
Did you say it's 2018? People are on open powerlifting.
I didn't, but that was honestly my first thought when I was like, powerlifting watch. We kind of like the guys from open powerlifting. Like,
yeah, let's migrate over.
Yeah,
let's go with the times, dude.
I asked who are the others they're inviting, or
because we don't know the other guys. Totally nice guys.
But they suck. I said, who are some others, or who would you really, really like to see get registered? And they said they're waiting on responses from Larry Wheels, Rob Philippus, and other big names like theirs.
Did you say anything about
from the IPF?
Tyler
We have
F.
invited
Stone.
Ray Williams and numerous other lifters. Only a few have registered, such as Dennis Cornelius and John Hack. I asked, how will the prize money be divided out? And he said, payouts for prizes will ultimately be determined by the amount that is raised. What we do know for sure is we will split the pot 4 ways. Best lifter by Wilks, men and women, in the raw and classic raw.
Okay. So I was wondering how they were going to, if it was going by weight classes or Wilks. Or
Yeah, so it's really not, weight class would be completely irrelevant, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, it's literally Wilks score, classic raw, and Wilks score, raw. And then they also said within the weight classes, if the money's there, you know, first place will get 1,000, second 700, third 300. Probably need to see at least $120,000 in cash prizes to be able to do that. The ultimate goal is $150,000 in cash prizes. And he said it'd be about 50 lifters each day, being the 2-day event. last thing was I asked about what companies out there have pledged money so far, and he kind of on that one he referred me to Matt and said he could answer it better, but he knows that several companies have donated, and right now they're up to about 26,000. He knows for sure. So
It's not a bad start.
no, that's a pretty good start. That's good info, I guess. You
Yeah.
know, it's cool to see the people that have registered already. Then you know, Pete Rubish,
With there
Kaylor
being
Woolham.
plenty of
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I would. The ones he mentioned, you know, that if Larry Wheels and Quads Like Rob both jumped in there, or like Kevin Oak, that'd be another good one to see. Ray Williams, of course, that would be the ultimate. But that's I would
He'll
be
probably
willing
be
to
hanging
wager.
out with us then.
That's true.
I mean,
I'd
it's
be willing to wager he's
summertime.
not going to though, because of
I'd
mean,
be really surprised if he did, because
Yeah.
that knocks him out of like world competitions.
Yeah, but maybe he would decide he
wants
wants
some
the
of that
money.
sweet
yeah.
moolah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would have.
I'd take it.
But
Listen, if
yeah.
you're gonna invite me, I mean, I'll go. I will squat no less than 400 pounds on that platform.
If I would think that if Ray Williams was like, all right, I'm going to do it. The IPF would be smart to be like, we'll pay you whatever you could win there to just keep doing
not do that.
IPF
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
USAPL meets
Oh yeah, he's
'Cause
like
he's like
the
the-
biggest name they got
by far.
Yeah,
Right? I
Yep.
mean, who's even in?
no one.
I mean, they're not. That's an interesting. They're not like beholden to one of those organizations.
no,
they
I
can
mean they could
compete
leave at
anywhere.
any point.
But if he competes in these other ones, he can't compete at. You can't compete at IPF Worlds if you
you
compete
have to
out.
sit out
Just
for
that
a year.
year.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
he
just that year.
could go in,
Take a year
take
out.
that money,
Yeah.
miss Worlds in, because this meet is when, in July, June,
August.
Yeah,
I think Worlds is usually like in, is that in August too, or is it in the summer? I can't
don't
remember
know,
when it is,
yeah.
but yeah. Either way, he'd catch it just on the front end, or he would have to wait a whole year
Yeah.
and some. But you never know.
I thought he was going to come to our strongman competition this summer.
I think he's thinking about it. He's a tentative yes.
I think when we texted him, it was just showing ... at the bottom for a really long time, and maybe he's still thinking.
Yeah. Big Ray was at Friends of the Podcast and our Friends of the Podcast in Alabama at the Diamond K powerlifting meet this weekend, and they were talking about Massenomics things. So
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. I liked Ray's Instagram story with or his video with Money Time playing really loud, and he's driving down the freeway like going to the,
He's like, I always know what time it is.
yeah.
So, well, that's got us about wrapped up for today. Anything else we need to hustle? We'll hustle our shit now. So, guys, make sure you go to Massenomics.com. There you're going to find all our articles, videos. The most important stuff, however, the store. So go
that's
to the
my
store.
favorite.
That's my favorite part. That's where I visit this. I visit the Massenomics store 2-3 times.
I have a
a day.
crippling addiction to buying stuff there.
Yeah, honestly, it's very, very rewarding emotionally.
I live in the brick and mortar Massenomics store, so
You live in the warehouse. You moved your family into the warehouse, and they love it too.
yeah.
Times are tight. We got to
We
consolidate.
sleep on our beds are made of Weekend Warrior T-shirts.
So if you would like to, if you want to get yourself a little bit of Tanner, Jack, or Mary's
Bed
aroma,
bugs.
go to Massenomics.com. There's the store. But we've got all sorts of cool shit: hats, shirts. Probably not by this time, but coming up real soon. The new hotness is going to drop.
Yeah.
Listen, if you like the lift
Freshest of
shirt,
fresh.
if you liked the Weekend Warrior, the lift shirt, the new hotness is going to take it to the whole new level. And so you're going to have the ability to have a full wardrobe pretty soon. I mean, we're getting close, but you could now, 5 to 7 days a week, you can be rocking your Massenomics gear, as you should, with really no repetition in design, style, color. We'll be ready to go. So, Massenomics.com, go to the store. Also, while you're there, you can scroll to the bottom of the page. There's sign up for our email newsletter. Go to Facebook. Make sure you like our page on Facebook. That's kind of where we get most of our back and forth stuff that's longer form. Also on Instagram, Tanner. We'll get to that shortly. But youtube.com/Massenomics. Please subscribe. Also, if you want to get notifications when new episodes drop, make sure you click the notification button at the top too. On Apple Podcasts, please leave us 5-star reviews. Also, make sure you subscribe on there. That helps. Our subscriber numbers help us out a lot. If you would like to give us money, send us money, talk to us about money, sponsor us, give us money, or also give us money, email us at getbig@massenomics.com. If you want to give us advice on why Tanner and I keep hurting our biceps doing stones, scroll through our Instagram feeds. There's videos of us doing stones, and then tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But be really nice.
And only if you actually know something. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah. And we are like not really good at taking constructive criticism. So
Better be
please,
really constructive.
I want you to word it really kindly. And
Otherwise, we're
don't
gonna
hurt
be really
our fragile
offended.
sensibilities. But yeah, so I think that's got about everything. All of our platforms covered.
Yeah.
So make sure you follow me on Instagram at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF Stone. And if you want the greatest hair on the grams, Tommy.
Woo! At Tomahawk_D.
And if you want to get down on the most serious strength and all things strength,
The
page
official Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics.
at Massenomics. All right, well, thanks a lot, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and stay strong. We don't have catchphrases anymore.
You heard it here first.
You just heard the Massenomics
That's the rest of
podcast
the story.
with your ears. You're welcome.
Anyone without a catchphrase?
Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.